Next time, can we do it again after the meeting?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do separate with you, but I forgot that there was this meeting.
Hello.
Hello.
Do it tomorrow.
How are you?
Just peachy.
Are we all doing impressions of Mary Poppins?
Nailed it.
Oh, look, throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
I used to have a British coach and always make fun of him. He gets so mad.
Hello, ma'am.
A British what?
Madam?
A British what?
Coach, soccer coach.
Okay.
You know, we make
Speak English.
Oh, you're right. English.
Britain is four countries.
Oh, I know. You're right. I should know that. No, Blue's right here. I'm sorry.
So do you mind?
How are you?
No, it's
Okay.
a fresh.
Appreciate it.
I love yellow.
Thank you.
I feel like we should always guess.
Me too.
Yellow.
Yellow's
Yellow.
the worst color.
Yellow.
Yellow. Oh, wait, are reflections still going on?
You're Drew.
You guys want to sit on the couch?
Okay.
Yes.
Chill.
You guys have books?
Jose.
I swear, you're always dripping inside.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes.
Can't see, but yeah.
All right. Anyone else in line? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Hey,
Thanks,
if Billy comes, that's like his little chair. I think
Who?
he's on his way. Who?
He likes to sit
Really?
next to me
Billy
usually.
boy?
I like to sit next to him.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Stand here, center.
You gotta get up.
This is the whole sober house.
That was my seat.
Swear to God, bro.
This is the sober house,
The
kid.
soul living.
That's the place in Malibu, right?
Yeah,
it's a
right
soba
there.
house. SOBA.
I mean,
Like, that's what
Hey, you
they
know what I'm
say in
talking about,
Boston.
Is that
They go to Fenway
That was
Park.
passion.
Yes, it is.
Can I?
This is
I
illegal.
don't need to.
That's how they talk in Boston. That's where I'm from.
It's like the salt.
Where's that?
it's your phone.
My parents have it. I only have it when I like.
Juice, bro.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
The Lord's Prayer.
You wanna go to
I'm
Fenway
sorry.
Park?
And then smoking parliaments,
Smoking parliaments, get a
sober
cold.
house,
You like a dog?
narcotics anonymous.
Nah.
Oh, you guys are feeling
Narcotics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome.
How many balls?
You're broke. Thanks for asking.
Because I quit it.
Paul, you wanna sit here?
Because I didn't get refilled. So it's like,
You sure?
Yeah.
I feel like you should be on the circle though. You're
yeah.
like a key player here.
I feel like all the outside guests should be like on the couch. No?
How you doing, man?
No one. Okay.
What? What's your
Don't do
brother's
it.
name?
I'm-
We're talking to?
Come on, bro.
brother
No, your buddy.
that comes here?
Yeah, we're talking about
Ryan, right?
Resto.
Wait,
Ryan?
wait.
Yeah.
Sure?
Yes, you guys are our
I
outside
like
guests.
your. I like your.
Thanks,
Is my phone?
Yeah, Blue, you have to sit next to me.
Restos.
I
Yeah.
love you.
You have to.
You still listen.
How's your week
This
been?
is my little-
Every day above water, homeboy.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Glad to hear it.
Every day above water. Oh. It's a plus.
Hell yeah.
Is there anything open?
No.
You're not so big book.
Yeah, my regular one is
Right now,
all
beginning
beat the
of
shit
like-
too.
Who's it?
Yeah, it's the one I teach us.
Is it your first one?
I did this for 11 years, bro.
Share it with me?
Yeah,
Share it. I'll sit there. Come on.
no.
That's not fair. You already.
The one I teach out of 2 years.
7:30.
Cost me $20,000.
Oh, is it short?
Well,
Oh yeah.
No, mine is right.
We can both sit, bro.
Sam's upstairs.
Look, we can both sit.
That's true.
I asked her.
The person running here is not even here.
Nice.
Oh, it's so good.
What is it, Pat?
so
It's just a,
Dang.
it looks like it literally looks like staged.
Can I see?
Yeah. It just looks like we're having like.
gotta love the sound.
Yeah, Reese, get that food clean. Oh man. This does it.
It's strawberry. No, you're right.
It's the seed of the coffee custard or something. You see the-
I know.
Bro, what?
Where was
It's not the name of the juice. I don't
That's
know.
why you haven't been sleeping. Rudy. It's on my TikTok.
That is definitely something I should watch.
Fucking,
I worked out again.
told him how to spell my
Dude,
name
I
too.
don't know how you did it.
It's like
All
it's
day on
R-U-D-I. They
Dude,
just spelled it L-U-D-Y. I was like,
What?
how
It's funny how when I work out, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
For real.
That's ego. That's ego, bro.
Everyone's wanting to
I got called
I think I would just mess with you.
Yeah, I might have made it. You went to their events? The one in Lenox?
Tripping
I
out.
remember going to those.
Who's playing that?
It's like Sam's here. I'm all over. I'm from UAL. Oh, you're Sam. Shooting birds.
The best 200 days.
I see. Now do that.
Is Billy
That was
coming?
me, yeah, before I got sober.
Everybody successful made themselves. We were all
No, too much now.
by those who did great things before us.
Found out
So late.
basically dead tonight.
Yeah. Oh, get out of there.
That's true.
Ghetto.
As a day after.
What do you think about?
Oh, you're from the west side over there?
Yeah. Little South Bay area.
Don't think about that.
Don't get sad, just get a tattoo.
Where's Casey?
Oh,
Oh, shit.
No building?
Fuck.
No building.
Oh, that's how you got your charge.
Johnny,
Hold on,
that's-
Johnny.
You're right
Johnny,
there.
get out of your head.
No one grab me.
I know, but you're in your head so much that you're forgetting about your responsibilities. Yeah.
You're sitting right there.
So that's it. Just get out of your head. No, he's not here. It's on you right now. I really like that tattoo on your elbow. What does that say?
Really, Scripsy Vici, I came, I wrote, I conquered.
So wait, what is that?
You
You know what it
I
is?
came, I saw, I conquered.
It
Julius
says
Caesar.
Scripsy Vici, which stands for I came, I wrote, I conquered.
I wrote. So like write, like wrote,
Yeah,
like.
right. I'm right.
So he conquered by writing.
Yes.
Like what did he write? Did he conquer? Did he?
No, it's I came, I saw, I conquered.
Me.
From
No,
the.
Oh, you changed it. Oh, dope. So you wrote. You
You're
changed it.
murdering the meaning of this tattoo. I'm gonna say that.
Well, let me help me, bro. Let's talk about it real quick.
I mean, I feel like we have.
All right,
It's when they reach.
Julius Caesar. That guy was gnarly, huh?
Yeah.
Have you seen? Has there been a movie made about it?
Yes,
Yes.
it's an old movie.
They need to make a new one, huh?
Yeah, we have very recently. So, welcome everyone to the Monday night Summon on the Mount meeting.
Welcome.
Meeting's live stream. Let's welcome everyone who's live streaming in for the meeting. This is not an AA meeting. Anyone is welcome.
Sober or not?
Sober or otherwise.
Although
Anyone who wishes
most people
to
here are
engage in
sober.
Enriching their spiritual lives may join us. The format of the meeting is we take a 4-minute meditation. Do we have a timer for the meeting?
I'll be in the timer.
Thank you, Rudy. Rudy's in the times. There's a 4-minute meditation. And then we read from Sermon on the Mount. The person on my left will read a paragraph from wherever we finished last week. And they will share their experience or relationship to that reading. Anyone can then talk and or discuss the reading. And when the conversation on that draws to an end, we will move to the next person and continue reading, and so on. There's time saved at the end, 10 minutes for cross-talk, cross-down traffic, discussion of any kind on any subject. But up until that point, we ask that unless something is pressing, you keep your sharing to the subject of the reading. We also ask that no one member of the group dominate discussion. What that means ultimately is that you share no more than 5 times throughout the hour. And with that, Rudy, would you mind timing 4 minutes meditation?
Okay.
Thank you, Rudy. So, does anyone know where we left off last week?
77, top of the page. If when someone is behaving badly.
Anyone want to do a recap of the reading last week?
So we're gonna kind of recap a little bit. I'll pass it over to you for like the specific recap, but I just want to do a kind of like a general recap. So this book is titled "The Key to Success in Life." It's a translation of the Sermon on the Mount, which is a sermon that Jesus gave, and it's outlining the Beatitudes and a certain design for living, humility, service, the opposite of how it seems like our world is, competition, drive, greed, stepping on my brother to get ahead. That's from a glance, it would seem that that's kind of what I've been taught my whole life. So this is something completely different. It's the opposite of what I feel like we're taught. Humility, service. Billy, I think that's Lovey. You could take it.
Yeah, you should take it.
Louis. But yeah, so specifically, just last week, what was the paragraph, or what was the page?
76 last week.
Yeah.
The last thing we're talking about how turning the other cheek can change the vibration of a situation. Last sentence here says the instruction about turning the other cheek refers to the changing of one's thought when faced by error, changing from the error to the truth. And as a rule, it acts like magic. We're talking about how we don't have to feed into situations and how we can just bring God in. And I think I was talking about the golden key. So I remember.
Okay. So would you like to read the next paragraph?
Yeah, we're on 77.
I believe that's
Yeah.
someone.
If when someone is
When someone is behaving badly, instead of thinking of the trouble, you will immediately switch your attention off from the human to the divine and concentrate upon God or upon the real spiritual self of the person in question. You will find, if you really do this, that his conduct will immediately change. This is the secret of handling difficult people, and Jesus understood it thoroughly. If people are troublesome, you have only to change your thought about them, and then they will change too, because your own concept is what you see. This is true. This is true revenge. It has been tried thousands and thousands, perhaps millions, and it never fails when properly carried out. It is often quite amusing to see it acting like clockwork. If somebody comes into the room at home, or into the office or shop, or anywhere else, looking as if he meant to make trouble, just try switching your attention straight off to the divine. Instead of sparring up aggressively to meet the difficulty or shrinking away to avoid it.
Sparring up.
Sparring up aggressively. To meet the difficulty or shrinking away to avoid it, according to your temperament. You will be amused and gratified to see the anger fade away from the subject's face, which will mean that it has faded from his heart too, and quite a different expression take its place. You may find it helpful in the beginning to glance away from him while giving yourself this treatment, but with a little practice, you'll be able, so to speak, to look through him to the truth of being. Yeah, I wish I knew that. I'm Johnny, I'm an alcoholic.
Johnny.
I wish I knew that half an hour ago. I just felt completely taken off guard and neutered and belittled and disempowered and demasculated. And I took all these things onto myself and started believing them. I was just like sitting in a car with an untreated person that I'm trying to really care about. And I didn't know what to say because all the things she was saying were kind of true 10 years ago. But it was like, years ago, on April the 14th, you was like, motherfucker. And I'm like, whoa. And I was just like, damn, I just took it like this. It was like this. But if I had just been like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I'm going to take a look at that.
Mm.
Thank you so much for reminding me of what I need to change and who I don't want to be. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for being the mother of my child and for raising her and breastfeeding her. Thank you. You're such a wonderful person. If I had just looked at her from this God point of view, from that third person perspective, I would have been able to see myself and her with some compassion, and I wouldn't feel like such a fucking bitch right now. My God, I felt like my balls were just taken and thrown out the window, and I was sitting there like this little puppy, like just hating life, and then having to be nice to her so that I can see my kid. I just felt like fucking just shoot me already. Like, why did I ever make a child with you? God, this bitch. I was just going so crazy, and now I'm like, fuck, man. If only I could have come to the meeting and read this, and the secret being to see her from a different light, to see myself from a different light. To bring in the Holy Spirit and to pause. If I could have just paused for myself and for her, I wouldn't have taken it like such a bitch. I would have brought in like King David, like just like fucking Vladimir Putin. Like I just wish I had Putin for a second, you know? I could have just been like, okay, what for you talk to me crazy? I just sit and take it because I'm big ball man, you know? But this thing, I don't know what the fuck came out of me in that car. But it was like, it was some Jezebel spirit shit, dude. I was like, what the fuck? I don't even know. Thank you all for being here. Sorry for letting me share.
Sorry.
Love you, Johnny. Thank you. See, Billy, want to sit right here?
No, I'm good, man. I like sitting right here next to two people, but
You guys want to spread out, or
Thank you.
because it's a little tight
Yeah.
over here.
I'm Abby. I'm an alcoholic.
Abby.
It's great to be here. This passage really reminds me about something we were talking about in the Big Book study with Michaelis, and just how we choose. Every day I can choose to be miserable or not. And usually when I am miserable, it's because I think something's owed to me, or I think I can change people, places, or institutions. Before I really understood that, like, I was an alcoholic, it was everyone else's fault. I blamed the world. I blamed the things that happened to me. I blamed God, and I just blamed my circumstances. And I just was so miserable doing that, and there was no solution in that, because if you're just pointing the finger at all these things, no real work can be done. And I just like the idea of when I see someone, I need to think of them as a mirror. Like, how would I want to be treated? Or just how a positive, like, instead of reacting negatively to someone who's showing negative energy, if I react positively, like, that can change everything about the situation. And I've also been reading a lot about energies, and it's just a really powerful to not have negative self-talk. If I want these things for myself to come true, I need to look terrible today. Like, no, you know what? I'm sober today, and I'm going to help someone, and that's it. So that's what I got from this.
Right on. Thanks, Abby.
Carter, alcoholic.
Carter.
Something really spoke to me, something I've been concentrating on. It was a sentence here. It says, if people are troublesome, you have only to change your thought about them, and they will change too, because your own concept is what you see. And that's something that really hits home, because it's something that I've been focusing on a lot and struggling with, because I'm trying to have that be a part of my change right now, because I used to let others and situations and things and lack of things and how people are all all that shit in life, you know, bad bosses, you know, assholes cutting me off on the free, anything, it would just define my day. It would define like how my day was going to go. And this thing that would suck is a lot of times it would happen in the morning and then my whole day is shot because I let it affect me. And it's crazy because I'm in the perfect situation right now to deal with that because I'm with a bunch of people who I would not usually mesh with. I mean, and it's like, it's testing me at times, you know, like seriously testing me. And that's why I've really seen that. And with some help with some people pointing it out to me, it's like, I don't have to be like that. I don't have to let somebody else's bad mood, somebody else who does something that I don't like or says something I don't like affect my day or what I do. Like, I've literally thought, I should just leave before because of somebody else. What am I doing? I'm freaking going back out and risking my life because somebody did something I didn't like. That's fucking stupid. And then, so I've been practicing this and I thought of something today that happened. And sorry, Jose, but I remember today, I can't remember what we were about to start arguing about. And we knew it was coming. I know you knew it. I knew it. And then I just looked at you and smiled. And then you smiled back. And it was good. We're all good. We're like, fuck it. We're good. And that was it. And we went about our way. And it was as simple as that. I was like, damn, dude. All right. Good. So, like, there's a big, powerful message right there in that one sentence. And I'm gonna write that down or something. But, yeah, that was really cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Carter.
I'm Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, that was a great paragraph. And again, this thing that if someone is behaving badly, instead of thinking of the trouble, you will immediately switch your attention off from the human to the divine and concentrate upon God or upon the real spiritual self of the person in question. You will find if you really do this, his contact will immediately change. And this is a pretty direct outlining for me of the practice of the second step. Like every time I find myself uncomfortable, it's that I've lost trust in the process. And you have to forgive me, this is a story I told you, Carter, last night, but it's just springing out to me as a good example of what it's talking about here. That I was in IKEA a couple of years ago and I pulled into the line for 5 items or less. And I saw the woman in front of me had a completely full cart. And she turned around and saw me counting the stuff in her cart. And immediately all of her body language was like, oh, fuck. I didn't think anyone was going to come. Shit. And I'm pulling this face like, yeah, you that. Just so you know, I see you and you're a fucking dick. And I'm getting gripped around the throat by this really horrible feeling of being right. And I don't like that feeling, so I close my eyes and I have my higher power walk into IKEA. It's going to sound a little fruity, but this is just how this works for me. My higher power looks a bit like me, he's a little bit older, and he's always laughing at me. And he walks up to me in the line, and he goes, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, she's fucking, look at the fucking 5. No, not 5, it's 50. And suddenly I have this image of her getting home with all the stuff that she bought from IKEA and not enjoying it because of some guy in the line that was mad. Like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And I hear my higher power say, let her off the fucking hook. I open my eyes and I smile at her and I say, we've all done it. And I watch her get £1,000 later. And I get to then enjoy the rest of the line at IKEA, the drive home, and my daughter when I get there. And if I don't do that, my daughter gets even all of that poison that I stored up over a fucking extra minute at IKEA. And it wasn't fucking worth it because my alcoholism doesn't want to mildly upset the apple cart. It wants to destroy my life. So it takes a moment in IKEA, sinks below the surface, and then waits for a really nice moment to rear its head back up and destroy it. That's why you hear all the time, like, why would you wait until Christmas to do this? It's like, you weren't here 2 days ago. This is how I fucked my entire life up. It's right here in the middle of Christmas. So, yes, this is a 100% applicable, practical action step. 1, 2, and 3 are not theories; they are action steps. And it's not about that, but it's important to me. That's it.
Thanks.
Louis, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey.
I was just like, all today I was like pissed off. Like when I was driving, like something that like I didn't hit traffic until I hit California, and I was like so pissed off about it. Now like an incident happened just a couple minutes ago, and like I was pissed off about that. But like I can't really be mad about stupid stuff. Like I know that like I know what happened. I know it's the reality of it. And I'm telling the truth, and like that's all that matters. I'm honest, and honesty will let me go. Honesty will take me to the goal.
Thanks, Louis. Is that it?
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm Pat. I'm alcoholic. I was gonna share the same thing you said. Well, no, like what you wrote, but like, cause that's crazy. Like, it's saying if someone's like acting like if someone's tripping, all I need to do is change my thoughts about them, and then they will change, because your own concept is what you see. But then it says this is the true revenge. That's like high level. I don't really fully know what that means. Maybe you do, Paul, but like I feel like what it means is like a lot of times people are acting stupid and they are trying to start shit and they are off, But I still have a chance to be the blessing and have empathy for whatever they're going through. Because fuck, dude, I've for sure been off before. Like, I don't even get mad at people anymore on the road because I'm a fucking madman on the road. So how am I going to be mad at this guy for cutting me off when I'm pretty much looking at my phone 60% of the time when I'm driving? So who knows who I'm cutting off? You know what I mean? So I don't get mad at people anymore because how am I going to expect someone else to act perfect all the time when I can't? But this is the true revenge. So what I was thinking was maybe like, so this person's acting wrong. So the true revenge isn't like, if someone comes up to me and smacks me in the face, right? Smacking them back in the face isn't really revenge, right? But seeing it from a different perspective and being able to forgive them immediately and be the blessing and maybe even help that person. Like it says to pray for our enemies, like that's the true revenge, I think is what it means. Like that's how I can really get, or maybe like, if I can be the blessing and do the right thing and bring light where there's darkness and peace where there's discord and honesty where there's, dishonesty, then it will be good for my life and I will become more successful. And that is the best form of revenge, because I just need to focus on my shit to be the best person I can be and have success. And then this is the key to success in life. If we do these things, like I don't need to be walking around angry over the girl at IKEA. That's just going to fuck my shit up. And I don't want to fuck my shit up. I want the track to be like lubricated so I can just fucking get to where I'm trying to go smoothly, and all that anger and resentment, and it's just going to slow me down. So I don't really know exactly what it means when it says this is the true revenge, because I feel like we've sort of been talking about how revenge isn't even something we should be trying to get.
That's why it's the Paul alcoholic. Paul. That's why it's the true revenge. This book's all about showing love. when you were stating that St. Francis prayer right now,
Mm-hmm.
rather to love than to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
If you show love when there's hatred pointed at you, what's the hatred gonna do? it has no choice but to go somewhere else. Unless you feed into it. That's one of my sayings. If I'm feeding into bullshit, I'm hungry for shit. I'm feeding into that shit. We literally make our own minds up, you know, and only with God's help, because that's the only way I seek discipline, you know, because I could feed into that shit real quick. I almost did when that guy came to your house that day, you know, and I haven't put my hands on anybody in about 11 years, dude. So truly, this is about mental states. If you're to change your mind, this is a golden. He's reiterating the golden key again. If you change your thought about how somebody is, you can't feed into their bullshit. If you're looking at the divine part of it, just realize and understand that maybe this person's having a bad day or something, you know. And who's saying sometimes you could just agree to disagree, you know. You were saying it. How you could have reacted. You know what? You're right. Maybe I'll look at that. That's one of my other ones. When I'm if I want to be in a disagreement with somebody, I don't give them the full power of it. I just say you're probably right. Shit, I might try that. You know, even if I'm knowing back of my head that it's bullshit. That's the true revenge. You know, the true revenge is not to be vengeful, but not to resist evil, even let it come head on and change your thought about it. It's tricky, but it says it worked. It's been done thousands of times. I've done it. It's easy for me to go into that headspace where I could just go at somebody's neck, but you're really giving revenge to yourself at the end of the day. It isn't having revenge on that person. Because the soul's integrity is the one thing that truly matters. That's what it said in this book. Your soul's integrity is what really matters. So you're really giving revenge to yourself. He didn't say who you're giving revenge to. This is the true revenge, is what it says. So give a little love to yourself before you could change your thought on others. Just like forgiveness, you have to forgive yourself before you can forgive others. It's all about mental states. That's what Jesus is teaching in this book.
So you can sponsor guys, huh?
I've sponsored hundreds.
In this house.
When I worked in treatment, they used to send them to me in packs of 13. I've taken.
Okay, so hold on. Like, we need you to be. We need more sponsors for people in the house.
Whoever wants to get it the hard way.
So get ready, guys.
I don't fuck around and I don't play with this life shit.
I already have
Yeah, no, we're gonna add him to the list. That's it.
Pat's got my number, whoever wants
Yeah,
it.
no, I already sent it to Woody and Caleb. We're gonna add it to the list.
Right through the book. That's where the work's at.
Who's raising their hand?
No.
Billy.
Billy Alcoholic.
Billy.
So I was thinking that this revenge thing, it's like people aren't as stupid as I assume they are. And if you're showing love, they're gonna be like, why am I such a piece of shit? Like if they're like fronting and bringing hostility, and you just transmute the whole thing by being kind and loving and not throwing it back at them. If someone did that to me, I would probably, maybe I would be real conscious about it, but I would be like, what a fucker I am. I'll maybe look at myself a little bit. And also the revenge is you can't hurt me. Like I'm indestructible or whatever, like your bullshit's not gonna affect me, and if it's real. I had this roommate. He was like a 350-pound caveman. I mean, he had no neck. He could walk through walls. This guy he was scary, and he was always, wherever we went, causing, people to feel bad. He would just talk shit, say mean things, and laugh at it. And I wish I knew this back then, because, I wonder if it would have worked on him. I remember one time he was pushing the other roommate around my car with his gut. He was big, but he was thick. Like, I remember one time we were digging trenches and he just took the, whatever that thing is, he goes, bum, 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 one hand, and he just, bum, 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 bum.
Jackhammer.
Yeah. And I'm like, with both hands, you know? And, so, I mean, hostility doesn't work on someone like that. He's just gonna pound you into the ground, whatever, talk shit or, you know. And I remember one time too, like, you know, gang members, they don't have a choice. If you give, they have to stand up because they can't be pussies, right? It's just not allowed. I remember one time, I didn't even think it was gonna escalate. I was at Taco Bell. I don't know, this is so long ago, but a few things stick in my head. And this kid was, I don't know what he was doing, but I said something, and he was up in my face. And you know how they do this? Like, I have a gun or a knife. You don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. And I'm thinking I could have just been nice to that kid or not said anything, and there would be no problem. And it's like something that's stuck with me for like 20 years now, probably. Anyway, the point being is, and maybe it's revenge because you know how painful self-reflection can be, right? Like you were talking about honesty, right? It's not honesty, it's self-honesty. So what's really going on in your head? What are you trying to do or manipulate, you know? Not like, I'm not going to steal that money at your cash register kind of honesty. It's like, what's really going on? What's the truth? Why am I acting this way kind of honesty? That stuff's painful to look at because what it looks at is, fuck, I'm a piece of shit, immature, fuck. And I got to do something about it if I want to be different, or I'm going to keep doing that shit. And not calling me, I'm not trying to do it.
Billy has no idea what's going on with you, Lovey. Believe it or not, even though he's like spot on.
Yeah, so I guess you could look at it as revenge.
Thanks, Billy.
I just kind of had a thought, and it might be way off. Sorry, Carter, alcoholic again.
Carter.
Maybe what it means about the revenge is, you know, if somebody's acting fucked up with you, this is from the Christian standpoint that I'm looking at. It means that either the enemy is in them and controlling them in that way at that time by doing things that affect their feelings or their thoughts, and they're just being consumed by that negative power inside them. So it may be the revenge on the enemy, so that they do take a step back, do evaluate who they are, what they're doing right now, and then it gives them the chance to let, you know, their higher power in and be good and kind of change how they're acting. And I don't know, that was maybe
No, I hear you.
Oh, I'm Johnny. I'm an alcoholic. You know, I was thinking about the idea of revenge. And if this is the true revenge, then biblically, that's actually what God wants us to do, is to show love. Because God said in the Bible, I mean, if we buy that the Bible's inspired word of God, that vengeance is mine. So in the Bible it says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So if the Lord's calling us to love one another as he loved us, that's to the point of like a selfless love. And then the definition of love, according to St. Paul, who basically said what it is before he got his head fucking chopped off. He said, love is patient. Love is kind. And then he said what love isn't. He said, it's not arrogant. It's not rude. It's not boastful. He said, love hopes all things, endures all things. So if we know what love is, then we know what hate is. Love or hate isn't patient. Hate is impatient. It's unkind. It's arrogant. It's rude. It does boast. It rejoices in the wrongdoing, whereas love doesn't rejoice because love's patient. So I think like having patience for the fool and the folly is like what they're talking about with revenge. It's not like let me love you until you love yourself, motherfucker. It's like letting a fool be like, yeah, bitch, come out your pocket, yeah, fool, and like punk you, like allowing yourself to get punked to the point like Christ got punked. Like he got spit on, he got his fucking beard ripped off, he got his back ripped open, he got nailed to a cross, and in the end, he was like, it's finished. Not his punking, like all the hate of the world, all the sin of the world, he took it on himself, either metaphorically, lyrically, or like literally. He went out like a fucking boss, like the boss. And then he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And then it was after they pierced him and the blood and water came out of his side. Then like the Roman soldier was like, damn, really, that was the Son of God. Like, ain't that a bitch? Like, can you imagine crucifying God's Son? Well, it's like, if he said this commandment, so Jesus broke down all the commandments. He said, this commandment do I leave you, that you love one another as I have loved you. And then he said, no greater love is this, and one should lay down his life for his friends. Henceforth, I call you friends, not servants. Because before that, he was like teaching them like another great love is to be a servant, to like wash the feet of Peter, to wash the feet of Mary Magdalene. Like, here's God, and I'll wrap it up. He could show up with a throne and be like, bow before me. Like, I'm fucking God, thunder, lightning, like thousands of angels, right? Like just pimping and pandering and all that. But he shows up like born in a fucking shit-filled manger. Like barns are dirty, mangers are filthy. He took upon himself like the lowliest, meekest form possible to teach us something. Everything he did was godlike and perfect. So that means like the fact that he was a carpenter is to show us that he was a builder. He wanted to build. Like everything he did was the opposite of what you think God would show up like. Because he has all power, he showed up with no power. Because he has all glory, he showed up as like a servant. Like, why would a king wash the feet of a whore? To teach us and reach us, That's all I have to say.
Damn, Johnny.
Thanks.
Madison, alcoholic.
Madison?
Thanks. I guess like the theme, like love and kindness and patience, and what popped in my head was kill them with kindness. I always kind of grew up with my stepmom always telling me that, and when someone is, what's the word, just like in a bad mood or coming off in a way aggressively or a way you don't like or any of that, if you kill them with kindness, I feel like they're like, what? Like they wanted you to give in to that negativity. And misery loves company. Miserable people want to bring people down. They don't even realize it. I mean, I did that just in my addiction, I didn't even realize that, I needed the company. I needed you to do this with me because, it made me feel better. But when someone, kills you with kindness, like it just rubs them off the wrong way. And that then like we could be the blessing for that person where it's like, wow, like I was really mean to that person, but all they're doing is treating me with love and patience and kindness. And what helps me like today is the patience part. I'm very not patient. And being able to, recently I was just on this thing called Reflections here where you can't talk to anybody. And I felt like a monk, and I felt like I was getting like, now I get why they probably don't talk, because then they're learning in their heads like how to change their thinking and analyze things. And it allowed me to pause and listen. And for the first time, I felt myself actually listening to people and not giving in. I felt a battle in my head where I had a consequence and I didn't want to face it. I wanted to play the victim. I got angry about it. And I saw how crazy I am in my head, like how quick I can go from being positive to being like a brat, like and wanting to manipulate and find a way out of it and being angry because I can't. But then I turned to God, and like that's what I'm able to like really practice here is like my prayer and my spirituality. And it's kind of that's like that saying, what would God do? God would love that person. God would help that person. And when you're helping someone who's like angry with you, like what can you do? That's the revenge. They like can't do. They're like what? Like it's off for them. They're like they don't understand why because they and also like for me, I see myself like when I do get frustrated, I'm like, why am I getting frustrated with this person? Oh, it's because I have that same character defect, or I could point it out and it frustrates me because I'm just like that. And just pausing, being patient with everyone's progress, and just being nice and love. Like that's basically it. Give love, and I find it really rewarding when that person comes back at me with love. That's it.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't down here whenever we read the first stuff because I was sleeping through the thing. I felt like unconscious hit me whenever I got woken up unexpectedly after taking 2 Benadryls. It's hard to stay awake, But I'm awake and I'm trying to work on it right now. And I'm kind of agitated. So I'm thirsty because I just took 2 Benadryl before I went to sleep, and I didn't have a chance to just walk out of this shit and get something to drink. There's something over there and stuff up there, and I already got to drink in the bathroom. And I'm working on it, and I'm not resentful because I don't want to have that resentment. I'd rather just replace it with love, because I think it's what we all need. It's what we all want. It's what one person don't see. It's what one person has, and then another don't. That's kind of how it is. It's like Confucius, you see no evil, you hear no evil. And it kind of like across the street in Malibu, there's Starbucks too. It's like all together now. And I already know that path because I've been walking a long time. And I had a dream when I was a kid, and I found this because we lived in the Salvation Army. I remember looking across the Tulsa and these big buildings. I remember playing with my brothers. Like, I remember me and my mom, my 2 little brothers were in there in this room. And there was some we were seeing some creatures on top of this building. I was just a baby, like a kid, and I was like, man, I thought it was funny. I was like trying to scare my brothers. I was like, look over there, there's something on there, and I was like, wow, man, this shit was real. I didn't even know. And I traveled the whole Route 66, and I've been to every state in the United States of America, and I've been to every ghetto, and then I went to every rich place and every poor place in the country, and I've seen a lot of shit. I was OJ state custody, and then I went to CARE, Christian Alcoholics Addiction Recovery, and I was in drug court, and I was in prison, and I was in 5 psych wards. I came to LA, and I was killing myself, and I was getting killed every day. And that shit happens. It ran me through the fucking ringer. I'm not crazy. Because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's impossible. You can't do the same exact thing and expect a different result. It's literally impossible. Literally. So I'm not insane. And I don't think I need medication. I just need a therapist. I need this step. I need sobriety, which I have 6 days. At midnight today, it'll be my, I believe it's like, we start at 7:30, I believe. We're like, I'm like a 7th son kind of, and I know some stuff, because I'm like the middle of 5, and I have a sister too. And, there might have been one more, I just don't know. But, my dad passed away. He died, and 4 hours too late to it because I was taking care of my newborn. And I took upon myself to take my newborn over to Tulsa from Baxter Springs, Kansas to go to this hospital. My dad died. People are talking right now. I'm fucking trying to share it because it just fucked up my share. And I'm done sharing now because of it.
Thanks for your share, brother.
Good job, man.
Hi, I'm Jose. I'm an addict. My bad, I left the couch. I was getting kind of claustrophobic. Something that really stood out, I'm going to go back to it. It says, if people are troublesome, you have only to change your thought about them. And then they will change too. I kind of had a hard time. I have a hard time. I feel like I'm the one that doesn't get. I just feel like I'm the one that starts the trouble sometimes. I just, sometimes I don't understand what other people are feeling, and I think that's my big problem right there. I really don't have feelings towards other people's, feelings, and that's just something that really stood out today. I really don't share, but yeah, that's like something I need to really look at. I'll probably write it down today too. But yeah, I had some issues today at the house, and I feel like I was the person trying to start trouble. I wasn't really looking at myself at first. Like, yeah, man, like I was just having trouble trying to figure out what other people think, what they're really thinking about actually. But yeah, that's all I really got to say.
Good shit, Jose.
Thanks, bro.
Anyone else? Caleb, you want to read another paragraph?
Absolutely. Caleb, alcoholic.
Yeah.
A lady was annoyed by overhearing two men engaged on some repairs outside her window, who, unaware of her proximity, were indulging in a very bad language. For a moment, a tide of anger and contempt surged up in her concerning them. But remembering this text, she instantly concentrated her attention upon the divine presence which she knew to be within each of them, as it is within all men. She saluted the indwelling Christ in them, to use our modern expression, and instantaneously the offensive language ceased. She said it was as though it had been chopped off with a knife. She must have got a good realization, and in that case, it is certain that both men received a substantial spiritual uplift, and may even have been permanently healed of the use of unclean language.
Seems like he's just reiterating or like giving an example in that paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
So we could probably go ahead, unless anybody wants to share about that. It was like an example of how a person turned the other cheek, literally.
I want to share. I'm just wondering, does anyone believe that? It's a little bit hard for me to believe, like, she wasn't even with them, but it worked. That it sounds like magic.
It's God, I think. To me.
We said on the other page that it's like it'll happen like magic. If you believe,
Gotta believe to perceive.
if you believe hard enough.
Let me say one thing. My name's Sam. I'm an alcoholic.
Sam.
It talks about, she is, and I'm with you, Billy. I understand that, like, this idea that these two window washers never cursed against people. But this thing of concentrating on the divine presence, it's me versus them instead of us. And when I, with particularly challenging people, I have to come back to this person is a sick child of God, just like me. The last three words of that are the most important part, because when I'm in resentment, I'm up a tree being fucking better than everyone. But the truth is, I'm just a guy up a tree. I'm not actually better. I'm just in pain. And I looked up revenge while we were talking about it. And there were three definitions, and the third was an opportunity for satisfaction. And that, to me, that's what it's trying to say, is that ultimately you want a satisfying experience. It's not about raining down fire and brimstone on these people, whether it's the woman in IKEA or the fucking window washers in this book. It's about changing the thought so that I can see them as children of God. And I get to walk away free. Or I can walk around that place of like grit around the throat by being right and rageful and vengeful. And all that does is kill me. It doesn't have any effect on the window. You probably will curse again. But the question is, are they going to curse me? And if I can channel the divine, like you were saying that, about the St. Francis prayer, like, it's not about me figuring out whether I need to bring hatred where there's love or light where there are shadows or any of that shit. The bottom line is, if I simply stand as a channel of God's peace in that first line, as a result, without me doing anything else, I bring love where there's hatred. I bring light where there's shadows. I bring harmony where there's discord. I don't need to figure out what the fuck I am. Otherwise, I'm just being an asshole. But if I'm being a channel of God's peace, all right, it's not. No, I'm not going to do that. But as a channel of God's peace, I bring light. And the key is I get to be free. So,
Makes sense.
you want to read the next paragraph, Paul?
Sure. Anybody else? No?
Did Caleb read?
Yeah. Although all those of us who have been working in truth for any length of time could cite many similar cases of harmony suddenly restored by this simple method of Jesus, that of turning the other cheek, I have myself seen several cases where men, and on 2 occasions, children, were actually fighting, and upon a spectator turning the other cheek in this manner, this strife ceased like magic. Animals respond even more easily to this treatment than do human beings. I have seen 2 instances where dogs were fighting savagely, and all efforts to separate them had failed. When the realization of the presence of God's love in all his creatures restored peace. In one case, it took several minutes work. In the other, it was practically instantaneous. Like, again, I think he's just going deeper into explaining through example. It's like the same thing we're talking about. Examples of how that energy switch can take place. I don't want to beat it up too much. You know, it's good though. You know.
I do.
Go ahead, bro.
Yes.
Billy, there's a few parts in this book where they talk about this. If your realization is high enough, if some of this artery will instantly be healed, or they're drowning, they'll be out of the water safe. And then this stuff we're talking about here, and I think it's hard for me. I don't know. I just question it. I mean, what is he really trying to say here? Is he really trying to say, as a human being, that we can do miracles if we have high enough realization? Or is he saying something else? I don't know. Those are always hard ones. I know Pat trips on that too sometimes when we read that one. And, well, I'm not calling people, but I see 2 hands up. I don't know.
Yeah, just wondering if you're done. Are you done?
So yeah, I'm done.
Paul alcoholic, like Sam was saying, if you're vibrating on that high of a frequency, then you don't have a chance to see the evil. You don't have a chance to be on that level to where it's maybe she didn't after she put her mind to the divine, she didn't even hear it as evil talk. She's vibrating on that frequency. It's like magic. Because most humans are programmed to feed into bullshit.
What if someone's bleeding out, though?
He said you have to demonstrate where you're at in that part of the book. That's that part of the book.
That's right.
Yeah. You have to demonstrate where you're at. You might have to perform a tourniquet, he said. Well, some people have such mystic information that they could just go like that. And then...
Right. That's true. That's
Good.
I'm Johnny. I'm an alcoholic.
Good.
I guess we don't even need to say that at this meeting. I just keep. Anyway, y'all know me. Yeah, I think he's because I read another book of his, which actually, I mean, it's a book, but it's a smaller pamphlet about where he really takes apart the Lord's Prayer and the metaphysical properties of the prayer. And I think as a matter of literature, he takes certain late night liberties So let's not become fucking psychopaths here. What he's saying is, wouldn't it be great if you could just fucking poof, you know, like we too could walk on water. Like, I think Jesus has an exclusivity that we need to kind of respect. But he also said that certain people will be able to work signs and perform greater miracles than some of these. But he was talking about like loaves and fishes and, you know, bringing people together. I don't think he was talking about raising mofos from the dead and like floating. But I think if you really kind of get into like the Bible is, depending on if you're Catholic or Protestant, 66 to 73 separate books written by 44 sacred authors over the course of about 6,000 to 12,000 years, if you count some of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So that being said, it's not all meant to be taken literally. There's prophecy, parable, poetry, all kind of metaphors. There's different books that are just about genealogy. The book of Numbers is about the different numbers in the armies of like different kings and stuff. The book of Kings is about kings, you know, different line of kings, Solomon, David, you know, Samuel the prophet. There's all kind of interesting things, but like there's certain parts of the Bible that if you read, like there's a part where Prophet Elijah calls 2 she-bears to eat 40 children. I don't think he called up 2 she-bears to actually eat 40 children. I think that's like about honoring your parents. Is that my time? Yeah, I think it's about respecting your elders, because he was like, that's all I have to say in my time.
So how many minutes is that set for?
2. It's 2 and 2.
So we share. We're able to share for
2 and 2.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
4 minutes,
Yeah.
not just 2.
Oh, so I got 2 more minutes?
Caleb,
Go, Johnny, go.
What? So what he's saying, I read it, I just kind of cheated and read about another paragraph ahead. I think he's just taking a lot of liberties. Like, I don't buy that those stories actually, like for example, it's hearsay from the woman saying that these 2 men were cursing, and then I just believed they were Christian, and they stopped cursing. I know they're cured. Well, she may have told him as an author, and he was like, "That's a great story, Betty." Put it down late at night. But like, I don't buy that like all of this is to be taken literally. Just like I was giving the example of Prophet Elijah, who was like being made fun of by these group of little kids, and then he called 2 she-bears and they ate him. It's like, it's actually a true story in the Bible if you take it to be true. I think it's a metaphor for parents to be like, well, if you make fun of your elders, the she-bears will come. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, let's be real. Like, if God's a God of love, why would he send 2 she-bears? Because his prophet is like using God power now. I don't buy that God would anoint and appoint a prophet to use she-bears to eat children. I believe that's a matter of literature to teach children. Just
parable.
Yeah, a parable. And that's really important because there's motherfuckers out there that literally think we're supposed to be like drinking snake blood and like doing some way out shit. And they've got to understand there's different genres of writing. And I think he's sort of creating a Christian Science genre. Like, wouldn't it be great if we could all use the divine spark? And here's some cool stories, analogies that may or may not really happen, but hey, it's a book.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Johnny.
Job done.
I'm pat on alcoholic. No, like that's what I think too. And Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot too. It's like the allegory of the cave and fighting the dragon and like Star Wars and fucking Lord of the Rings and just even that movie we watched, this Jerry Maguire movie. It's not a real. You guys watch. These are stories, and
Right.
like sometimes we have to use stories and art to like translate certain messages. But the hero's journey, it's like one. I mean, it's all really about one thing.
Right.
Me versus me.
Right.
It's a state of mind. Like you're saying, he's talking about states of mind.
Mental states, yeah.
And we can be the master of our own experience. But it's fucking hard. Just because of the ego and fear. Because we have these instincts, like survival instincts. It's hard. We gotta like survive. We gotta try. We gotta like, back in the day, it was like we're being attacked and we have to like survive, literally, and like find food. And like, it's like, survival instinct. But right now in this world, like you don't really need to be killing things. And then there's the sex instinct and fear stuff. There's like all this stuff that's like working against us. So we have to try to keep a lid on it all, and it's hard. But the only thing that makes it possible is this idea that I'm gonna be okay. I always have been. God's got my back. I'm gonna get taken care of. Like
The truth.
I know. I guess that's the truth. You know. I don't know. It's hard though to believe that. Like, do we really believe that?
No, I think that's what we're all fucked up, because I was thinking, we're okay, like we die of cancer, but we could still be okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the kind of okay we're thinking of, like security. It's the kind of okay, like, my heart is good, whether I'm suffering or I'm gonna die tomorrow or not, kind of something or another. I don't know, if you've been really fucked up and sick, and you think maybe your life's over, and you're still okay, which I have been, that's true. You're not okay, but
I think just what it comes down to is fear, worry, resentment, greed. It never makes anything better, ever. So to be in faith, to have love and forgiveness and humility and to honesty, and courage and faith, all that stuff will only make my life better and easier. And it's the key to success in life. And I believe that you're right. These are all like metaphors and stuff. Like heaven exists on earth, in my mind, in my head. I can be in such a peaceful place of gratitude. I can be so happy sometimes, and it doesn't really matter what's happening outside. So this is how we tap into that. If we can be there all the time, I think our life will just become incredible. I mean, it has mine has.
Yeah. Like if you could feel as if, I'm talking to her.
And this book says heaven is the presence of God. In this book, it says it.
Lovey, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I don't know, it's just like, I was like really pissed off at the beginning of the meeting. And like, now I just feel like I can't, like, everything that's going on, it's like, Michaelis always says, like, you gotta be like the light of God and just be honest. And like, that's the whole thing is like, that's what I'm doing, I'm just being honest. So I'll be okay,
Was it the chair?
No.
Sorry.
Just being honest, I'll be okay.
What's up, man?
I'll be fine.
You will be fine.
you are fine right now.
You are fine.
Judgment, security, election, whatever that.
Appreciate it.
Only like 17 minutes.
Yeah, if you want to go to sleep, just go to sleep. Because we can't be laying down in the middle of a meeting like that. It's okay, you can just go to sleep.
I want to share again, if that's okay. Billy,
Billy boy.
So when you talked about the beginning of that prayer, channeling divinity or God, and then Paul said it another way, and then Pat just said it another way. Same thing is, I just think that's the crux of all of it, because for one, it fulfills you, but it also fulfills others, and to really be like, I mean, I don't know, I guess as I've gotten deeper into this practice and my relationship with a higher power has gotten stronger, I feel the outside circumstances are in my control whatsoever. can't predict anything. But I can open a channel if I will to do that right now and let divinity like flow through me. And I think that's what art is. And I think that's what loving people do. And the result is fulfillment, but not just for yourself, but the people around you. When I say fulfillment, I mean, I don't like using the word fine, but if you're good, everything's okay. Or even better than okay. And there's no insecurity and there's no worry about death or sickness or money or sex or your next fix. Even if it's not drugs and alcohol, it could be the shiny car you want or an orgasm, I don't know, whatever, but I don't know, I think I'm just that one.
I had a thought, based on what Pat was saying about the movie Hero Journey, how there's all these stories, and it reminded me of a conversation you and I had not long ago.
A what?
Conversation you and I had not long ago. That, you know, I mean, if anyone's a lit major, you'll know this, but there's this theory that gets pushed around about how there are 7 original stories.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bore you with what they are because I don't believe it to be true. I believe that there is one story. And the story at the core of all of it is, who am I when pushed? Which is where everyone in this room sits. Like, you are all at the core of your very own movie. You are the hero in that journey, and you have been pushed. And you're now you're facing the question, in truth, when pushed, who am I? And as the reading says, am I going to be a channel for the divine, or am I going to channel my disease?
Channel the divine or what?
Channel my disease.
Oh.
Those are the choices.
Yeah, Sam, so if no one shares, I like to pick on the real quiet people.
I know you do.
know.
I really want to read the next part. Sorry, I already read it.
Greg, do we have any do you know if we have any questions from outside?
Did you read?
No, not yet. Could you take
Has anyone switched from like a higher power to Jesus? Feel free to give a take on that.
Oh.
That's a question from TikTok.
Oh, okay. So,
and how did that happen?
hi, Madison.
Madison.
So for me, I had to get really broken down. I had to go to like a really dark place to find God again. I was really blessed when I was younger. My grandparents planted the seed in me, but they're Nazarene Christians from Mexico. So I'd go to like this only Spanish speaking church, and I wasn't really able to get it, but I got the love for sure. My grandparents, they're people who pray before every meal, that every morning they're on their hand. I grew up going on my hands and knees every morning and every night when I stayed with them. And then I just kind of got lost for a really long time. And my disease took me to the hardest program I've ever been in my life, which was in Tijuana, Mexico. My mom told me she was taking me to like a resort and that I was going to be there for 4 days. And anyways, it wasn't
water.
Yeah, like it was what it. So I was in my storm. I was in a dark place. Like I wasn't getting everything there was based on donation. I had 1 roll of toilet paper to last me the whole week. Everything was based on the food was based on donations. I lost 30 pounds in two months. I was starving and just washing hands by my clothes by hand. And I was in such a dark place. I wanted to commit suicide. Like I literally wanted to die. But God was doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. And I got with the program. I started praying every day, and I didn't know why I was praying. I honestly was just so bored with my time, and I didn't have anything better to do. And then I got out of there, and I realized what God did for me and what Jesus did for me. Like I would have never put myself in that place. but God had bigger plans for me, and He put me through. A lot of people are like, "Wow, I would be mad that I got sent there," and I'm not. Like, I'm so. What didn't kill me made me stronger. And here in America too, like we're so blessed. Like we have hot water. I appreciated I cried over my first hot shower. Oh gosh, I cried over my first good meal when I got out. Like I was, because I went in there entitled. I went in there not wanting. I thought I was different. I was like, no, I'm American and I'm this, and I was looking at all the differences, and then it wasn't until I got with the program I surrendered. And without even meaning to. So then I got out, and I had I had a really intense spiritual awakening. And that's when I knew that God, whatever He throws at me, it's for a purpose. So I started changing my thinking. Okay, when anything bad happens, it's going to lead to good. And honestly, being here at Graceland, like I've been accepting Jesus Christ and truly believing in Him, because I accept Him. I'm surrendering to Him because I don't have control. I'm not behind that wheel anymore. And it's like a sense of freedom and relief. It's a beautiful thing. And like, he's like, what did you smoke before you got here? It's like, Jesus. Like, for real. I've been so happy. Like, I've been really happy because I don't know. I can't explain it. And I can't take credit for it, like, at all. Because it's power working in me and doing what I can't do for myself. There you go, Tim.
The woman stayed quiet and didn't talk to learn more about herself. Somebody talked about that earlier.
Oh yeah, me. Oh God.
I'm referring to the book about the workers.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what they're talking about.
I think he's referring to the woman that was hearing the worker speak. How long did she stay quiet before the magic happened?
Yeah.
We don't say.
It just says for a moment.
For a moment.
So what I don't really understand this dog. The dogs were fighting savagely.
Right.
And then like it took several minutes. And then another time it was practically instantaneous. The presence of God's love. When the realization of the presence of God's love in all His creatures restored peace. So are they talking about like the dogs?
I think it's a play on words, like how they say in the book,
right.
Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly it'll happen.
So they're just using the dogs fight. Sometimes we can be fighting really savagely with other people.
Yeah.
Physically or just like Greg.
Yeah, you fight with
bro,
yourself.
like, I feel like we should just talk about what happened earlier today, bro. Come on. This guy, it was amazing, bro. This guy, like, do you want to just like share about it?
Go on.
It was really cool because so he sent out like a newsletter, right? For like Rich Production and Learning to Lose, like all the stuff we're working on. We have like a new reel. We did a bunch of dope music videos this last year, and the show is we're on episode 4. And Veronica has these cool necklaces. She just sold fucking a couple hundred of them in like a day for She made like a lot of. I can't even. It's crazy. I can't even fucking believe it. They sold out. Like it's amazing. So we sent out a newsletter, right? But this is the first time he's ever done that. And he did it didn't do it right. He and my partner Tim called like hot. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I didn't approve the newsletter. Like Greg just sent it. It didn't get approved. I was still like making edits, but over here we're posting 5 things a day. They're never done. And more people see what we post here than there's just a small amount of people that see the newsletter. It's like a couple thousand, like 6,000, but the people that are there's just a small amount of people that see the newsletter. It's like a couple thousand, like 6,000, but the people that are on that newsletter are so high. People Tim worked with Warner Brothers, relationships I made through the music, and like a lot of really important people. But it mattered a lot. Tim was upset, and Greg he's usually in a position of power, like, or whatever. He's usually the leader. He's usually the guy that's like calling the shots. So he had to take in, and he was feeling angry.
Right.
We were all kind of like hot and angry and agitated, having an emotional response. This is people make mistakes, and then I was like, so Greg at one point just was like, you know what, I'm out of here, dog. And he went to walk away like Louis did, right? Like who else walked away? You walked away a couple times. And then he was like over here walking away, and I looked at him, and then like, what happened?
So then I checked myself, right? So like I need to set my ego aside for the greater good of what we're working on here, right?
God entered the fuck.
Like, oh bro, just go. Run from like this that you have to deal with. But my reality was Tim is his partner, so like I fucked up, so I need to make it right with him, and I need to understand what the process is, right? But like that moment of me checking my ego was so huge, right?
Yeah.
It would have been easy to be like, you know what? Fuck all of y'all.
Yeah, I got shit to do. Yeah.
But the reality is like the residents up here have shaped my life in such a way to where I couldn't just walk out of here and walk up Kane and
No, because bro, you're doing what like some of the people in this house are trying to do, right? We want to walk away from our shit, but instead he let God and humility enter,
right?
And like we're all good, and I think we're closer to where we want to be, and the cracks are how the light gets in. So we had a little crack because like they're talking about just like having like conflict, people not acting right or arguing or fighting, and then just like it can just switch. And I feel like I don't know if I was angry or if I, whatever. God, I think that's
either way. There wasn't a reason for shit to blow up, right, and be out of proportion. But the reality is, like, for the sake of what we're up to, like, to remain calm, right? With the residents here, like, when everybody wants to leave, like, it's like, yo, what's your life gonna be like next week without this, right? Like that consequence. So like in my case, like, wow, like what kind of purpose will I have not being able to help my boy out, right? So like, let's just stick it through. Let's figure out a solution and get through it.
But also, like, we don't ever want to quit anything.
Right.
I don't ever. If I start some shit, I want to finish it. I saw Kevin Hart talking about this on a video the other day. He's like, when I start shit, I finish it, and that's what I'm teaching my kids. Like, don't fucking quit. Period. I don't care if you like it or not. Like, don't finish what you start. And if you walk away from some shit or you quit, it's gonna be you're carrying that with you for the rest of your fucking life. We already quit enough fucking things. We don't need to quit anymore. What's up?
It's officially chaos time. 10 minutes.
Chaos time. All right, I was walking away. Oh, this is some trippy shit.
Oh, you left?
Yeah, when I left, I was just like, chaos, fucking chaos. Well, I pray to be chaos after God's own heart, for like pure in heart, for like the little ones and like everybody else. I was like, God, please, in Jesus' name, amen. And I was like, wow. He says, if you ask anything in Jesus' name, and he has to stick to his word because he wrote it. And then I was like, amen. Like, wow. I was like, everybody's that too. I was like, right. Something. And I was walking up the street and I seen 2 beer cans laying on the ground. And then I seen another recycle. That was all I thought was, wow, sober, not. And then it was like 15 cents. And I was like, then I found a nickel on the ground. Wow, there's more. That's 20 cents. I was like, oh shit. And then I found a penny. I was like, oh shit. I found 6 cents and I still didn't get the cans. And I was looking back and I found a bottle out of the trash or somebody's recycle. Like, oh shit, there's 5 more cents. That's 20, that's like 31 cents. I was like, oh shit. I gotta go back. Then I turned around, I was like, and I pulled a rock out of my road. I was like, oh, I just saved a life. Somebody could crash that car, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, because I've been picking up rocks a long time out of roads and stuff. I was like, and then as I was leaving home, I rescued a lady at those Kansas was wondering. I was going across the state line in Kansas, at where that movie Cars was filmed, because that's where my kid lives. And there was Isaiah, that's my reason for living, kind of, but God.
And then stuff, and then I was walking, and I pulled this lady out. I seen this wreck, this dump truck hit the back of this car, and this car, like, no, the car, this dump truck completely stopped, and this car hit it, and bam, went flipped upside down like 3 times, and I just walked through like 30 miles of briar bushes. I was seeping like poison in my blood, and I was like, man, I was like hallucinating. And I ran across the street because I was having this 5K from Baxter Springs, like from Kansas to all the way to Joplin, Missouri. There was running, and if I ran as I can, this car was upside down, and this gas was leaking on the manifold. And I pulled this lady out of this car, and she was light as a feather. She was hanging upside down. She was like 90. The dude was already all right. He was just in shock, and I pulled her out real quick, and then I put her to the side, and I ran away before the police could take my name because those cans was wanted. And then I just come back. I found at the very end of the parking lot, and it's still lit, and so I was tripping over, and I found it just enough time smoking. I smoked it as I was coming up, and then I sit right there, and I was looking down because Johnny was down there, and I was just sitting down there observing and listening, and then I came back in the house and did dishes.
So, but so you asked God to show
I just
you,
realized that I was wrong,
and
and
then you
I
came back.
couldn't do it without myself, and I was powerless. But I was willing to lose all resentments and to be just have faith and hope and love. And then I just came in and did it.
Well, we're glad you're here, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So about I'm Johnny, I'm an alcoholic.
Okay, so who's keeping time? I think it's 8.
Yeah, we're in the chaos.
Yeah, so the last, we got 3 minutes
Oh, that's why you said chaos.
Oh, 2
left of chaos.
And then what happened?
I mean, it's over.
Oh shit. Well, I'm Johnny, I'm a grateful alcoholic. Thank everybody for this year. I just wanted to do a lot of accountability. I wanted to drink so badly coming out of that car in this meeting and the fellowship of these people in all our vast and sundry ways of expressing ourselves. I can see myself with a little bit more compassion for others now. And thank you, Casey, for being here. You know, it wasn't too long ago when I had a very low bottom and I was in a 5250 in a psych ward, and they diagnosed me as like in psychosis, and people didn't think I was coming back, man. They thought, you know, Johnny Crump is a fucking crystal meth addict, and he is never going to be a father, and he's never going to formulate sentences, and he's a damn fool. And people were laughing at me, and I remember what that was like. So we all come here in different, varying degrees of sanity, and we love each other here. You know, we love each other back to life. And because of this meeting and because of the fellowship and all the different freaks and pushers and pimps and tattoos and all this weird shit that happens at this meeting, the Loveys and the Pats and the Sams and the fucking Blues, like it's all God. Like we're all different reflections of God walking around in skin suits, just babbling, trying to find connection. That's why we meet. That's why we make babies. That's why we work, so we can impress women to make kids. Like we're just people that want and long for connection. And not everyone on TikTok has that. Not everyone on Facebook has that. But we have that. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, grateful to have it. It's really cool.
All right, guys. Thanks for a great meeting. We're going to pray it out. Casey, you want us to pray us out?
Yes.
Say.
Courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Come back.
Without us.
Do you live around here?
Catch my book.
You too.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Yeah, I knew it. The minute I saw it, I was like, this one's this guy's. Is this your house? Okay. Oh, whoa, that's cool. Oh, are you from out here?
You're not.
Oh, Bora?
I used to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Redondo, and I was just living in San Pedro.
I lived near